Welcome back to the history of Liseberg. In part 2, we'll continue with the year from the year 1980 until the year 2000. In 1980, 3 premiere tales are presented. 2 of these, The Bear and the Penguin, fade from Liseberg history. The third, on the other hand, A Green and Pink Rabbit with Long Ears and a Happy Smile, becomes so exposed in time that it is without exaggeration to be regarded as one of Liseberg's history's most important symbols. In October 1980, the construction of Liseberghallen was completed. The new hall is directly to the left of the main entrance. The main entrance was also demolished because it was severely damaged by landscaping. An entirely new entrance building with the same appearance as the previous one is in place for the opening of the 1980 season. In connection with the building, an electronic entrance and registration system is also installed in the main entrance. The big ride to open in 1980 is the Liseberg Loop. The Liseberg Loop, or Loop as it was often called, was a roller coaster in steel that premiered in 1980. It replaced Liseberg's former steel track ride Super 8. The Loop was made by legendary cable car manufacturer Anton Schwarzkopf and is situated behind the Liseberg Railway. It was located where Super 8 existed before. The Loop would operate from 1980 until 1995. Also opening this year was Ormen Lang, a boat swing ride that would run for 9 years from 1980 until 1989 when it was sold to a French amusement park. Before the 1981 season, Peter Pan moved. Attraction is still in the southern area, but is turned 90 degrees and placed closer to the Moldensan River. In connection with the move and a thorough renovation, the attraction changes its name to Our Little World. The new ride to open at the park in 1981 is UFO, which would operate from 1981 until 1986. In 1983, Liseberg turned 60, and it's celebrated in many different ways. For example, all children under the age of 13 may ride for free in 3 of the children's carousels. The season card for the park is extra cheap. It's 30 kroner instead of 50 kroner. In addition, all residents of Gothenburg who were born in 1923 will receive free entrance to Liseberg. Also in this year, Liseberg would open the ride Rainbow. Rainbow was a rainbow-like platform that both twisted clockwise and counterclockwise. It immediately became very popular with Liseberg's guests. Unfortunately, on July 15th, 2008, a fully loaded Rainbow would collapse and hospitalise 36 people. An investigation into the accident would show that a component that was supplied by an exterior manufacturer actually failed, causing the crash. The component had a guaranteed operating time of 5,000 hours, but the component failed after it had only been used for 3,500 hours. In 1994, there are no new attractions opened, but the place of honour is rebuilt and provided with a roof. Notable concerts at Liseberg in this year are by Ultravox and the band Europe. In 1985, the ride Our Little World was rebuilt and renamed the Fairy Tale Castle, and would operate from 1985 until 2017, where it would have to make way for Valkyria. Other new rides opening in 1985 are Hawk's Nest, a high-altitude carousel that ran from 1985 until 1990. The Coffee Cup, which has run from 1985 until the present day. And Villa Up Down, a new funhouse that opened in 1985 and ran until 1996. The concert lineup for this year would include notable concerts by artists Europe, Gary Moore, Spandau Ballet and Tina Turner. In 1986, Bengtas Cafe, which has been at Liseberg since 1924, is closed for good. The building is demolished during September to give room for the Liseberg Railway Station building and the railway restaurant, which premiered in 1987. Ladybug changes its naming this year to Circus Express. This is part of the development of the circus team in the children's area, called Liseberg Circus. 1986 sees a completely renovated Whirlwind and a new ride called Disco Round, which ran at the park from 1986 until 1988. 1987 sees 50,000 people visit Liseberg on the opening day. This is a record amount of people for an opening day at Liseberg, and the reason for the amount of people is the Liseberg Railway. Europe's longest roller coaster is opening on the opening day of the season. The pressure from the sheer number of guests who want to ride the coaster is so great that the park is kept open for an extra hour in the evening. Also in this year, season card holders can now enter the park on their own due to the new card reader system that has been installed in the entrance boxes. Another new ride to open this year in the park is Breakdance. The ride would operate from 1987 until 1993. This year, some of the new additions to the Liseberg honorary site are Cliff Richards and Liza Minnelli. In 1988, the biggest events at Liseberg are the visit of two of the world's biggest artists. Michael Jackson visits the park during his Bad tour. Jackson would spend a day riding the attractions with his tour crew and had the park to himself. He also added his handprints to the honorary site. Also visiting Liseberg this year is Whitney Houston, who also spent time at the park riding the attractions, in particular the Liseberg Railway, which she rode 5 times. She also added her handprints to the honorary site. In the same year, 2 new rides were added to the park. The Fishing Trip, a revolving carousel that has ran from the park from 1988 until the present day, and the latest updated brand new version of radio cars. Joining Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston on the honorary site this year are Pavarotti and Swedish tennis star Mats Wilander. In 1989, no less than 4 new rides will be presented at the park. Aero Shipyard, a wild up and down journey, is in the upper park and would run from 1989 until 2001. And those guests who like spinning can take a ride in space-inspired Tornado, which ran from 1989 till 2008. Near the Tornado is Fast Train, which is a collaboration with S&J and ran from 1989 until 1992. And in the children's area, you have the Flying Swing, which would run from 1989 until 2018. And at the honorary site, Paul McCartney and Roxette would add their handprints. Also at the park, there would be notable concerts from artists Ozzy Osbourne, Suzanne Vega, and the Pogues. In 1990, the park introduced Spaceport Liseberg. Spaceport Liseberg was a space facility which premiered at the park in the year of 1990 at a cost of $110 million. It was the biggest investment so far in Liseberg's history. The resort's most eye-catching part was the 146-metre tall tower. The Liseberg Tower consisted of an attraction called UFO 23, a gondola or flying saucers as they said then to fit in with the space theme, which went from Spaceport Liseberg's basement up to the tower's top. At the top, passengers had a magnificent view across Gothenburg, and today it still towers over Gothenburg. Here is Simulator. A 3D immersive ride, Simulator has space for a total of 96 passengers. The movie screening Simulator was one of the world's largest rectangular video models. Simulator had for its time very advanced video technology that was based on the same effects that had been used in films like Star Wars, Star Trek, Poltergeist, Ghostbusters and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. In this year, people to add their handprints are Tom Jones, Tina Turner and Little Richard. 1991 saw the release of The Flying Carousel, which was a children's ride. The Flying Carousel consisted of 6 aircraft with room for 2 children in each, and would run until 2012. Also debuting in 1991 was the Drum Elite. The attraction consisted of 6 gondolas in the form of drums that rotated around a larger drum provided with a clown figure. The drums, which held 4 children, rotated around their own initial axis when the children twisted the knob that was in the middle of the drum. The following year of 1992 was a very quiet year at Liseberg, and there were no attractions added to the park. Although, in this year, Stevie Wonder and Julio Iglesias would add their handprints to the honorary list. In 1993, Liseberg would celebrate its 70th anniversary. The park was decorated with flags, balloons and flower arrangements, and new attractions are brought into the park in the form of jukebox and a ride called Top Spin. Jukebox was a ride that would put you in the environment of being taken back to an American gas station of the 1950s. The ride would run until 2011, when it would be renovated, and then would run from 2012 until the present day. Also opening this year was Top Spin. Top Spin was a spinning attraction that would operate from 1993 until 2006. Also in this year, Liseberg CEO Bo Kinnetorf leaves the amusement park to retire. Kinnetorf had started working as CEO in 1973 and had done the role for 20 years. He's to be replaced by Mats Wedin, who has been the director of the subsidiary Liseberg Sparken AB and is now appointed the new CEO. In 1994, Liseberg buys the Spindle Quarter with associated industrial buildings, an area of 12,000 square metres. In this area, Liseberg's services area will be located. The purchase means that the amusement park can expand with an additional 32,000 square metres on the area east of Moldunsan. The expansion will begin with the projects planned for 1996 and 1997. At the time, this includes a roller coaster, a new themed area, Liseberg Harbour, and a spring attraction in the Nordic wilderness environment. The ride Takeoff would open this year, but would only run for 2 seasons until 1995. In 1995, Liseberg Loop, which opened at Liseberg in 1980, makes its final run on the closing day on September the 24th. Since its premiere 15 years ago, the Loop has always been on the top of the list when it comes to the total number of rides per year. The same thing happens this year when over 1 million rides are noted. During their 16 seasons in the park, a total of 14,300,000 people went on the Liseberg Loop. During that time, the ride became the first ride in Sweden to ever be immortalised on a stamp. In 1996, Hangover, the new steel mountain railway that's built to replace Liseberg Loop, should be the year's major attraction, but unfortunately guests are made to wait another season for the premiere of the ride. The attraction, which is equipped with the brand new and unique LSM drive system, does not work satisfactorily and cannot open to the public on opening day. An extensive investigation of how to get the ride working begins, but in August of the year the park throw in the towel and Hangover has to be completely reconstructed by the supplier, and the premiere is postponed until 1997. Rides that did open this year are Krinelin, a family carousel that ran from 1996 until 2005. And the ironically named drop tower called Postponed. A tower that you would travel 60 metres up into the air and after 2 seconds would fall back down to the ground again. The ride would run from 1996 until 2015. In 1997, Liseberg presented lots of news, but the biggest is actually a hangover from 1996. Steel Mountain Railway hangover finally opens. After a complete remodelling during the winter with a change of drive system, the reception for the ride is overwhelming, with top grades in all the local newspapers. Hangover would run at Liseberg for 6 years from 1996 until 2002. The following year after that, it was sold to the Allow Fun Park in Greece. This year, Liseberg Port opens. The 38,000 square metre area east of Moldensan contains new water rides, Colorado and Eldorado. Colorado is a water attraction that consisted of a 560 metre long crooked ridge where the occupants travel in a circular boat through a Nordic wilderness environment, and it still runs at the park to this date. Eldorado was a basic experience attraction that premiered in 1997. The contents of Eldorado revolved around all types of energy, which were taught in an educational and entertaining way until 2001. Eventually, Eldorado was closed as the premises were needed for the expansion of Liseberg's infrastructure. Also opening in 1997 were the Dragon Boats, a family attraction that opened this season. The ride consisted of 6 Viking ships travelling around in a water pool. The ride has run until the present day. Also in this year, the radio cars would get new cars in the form of newly designed Volvo cars that were based on vintage models. In 1998, Liseberg celebrated its 75th anniversary. It would celebrate this with an exhibition show showing 75 years of history with pictures of artists, attractions, developments and forgettable moments. Also opening in the park this year is the Ghost Hotel Gaston. As the name suggests, Ghost Hotel Gaston is actually a ghost house and is located in the Liseberg harbour. The ghost house gives visitors a frightening and fun experience in an old hotel that has been closed down. In its premiere year, about 60 people worked at the hotel to scare a total of 450,000 Liseberg guests.